Hello there, everyone. How you doing today? I hope you're all well. Today we're going into r/entitled people, where people are very entitled. Oh boy, it's been a while since I made one of these, isn't it? Anyway, new year, new me. Let's try to put it off on the right foot, or however else that phrase goes. Now, like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and hit that notification bell, or I'm gonna have to steal your kneecaps. Now, let's get started. Friend forgot my birthday, but expects me to splurge for hers. My friend forgot my birthday this year, and it was the second time she's done this. For some context, we are in our early 20s, not married and no kids yet. I'm not a big birthday person, and it wasn't a milestone year, so asked a week before my birthday if she wanted to grab lunch as it was a Sunday. She said she had a trip planned, which was understandable. I ended up having dinner with another friend. The day rolled around and not even a happy birthday, but she did text me numerous times to send me pictures of her getting her nails done, her drink order, and so on. Fast forward to her birthday, which is in January. She wants to go to a really fancy restaurant, where prices are between $100 and $150 per person. And since it's a birthday, I'll be required to buy a gift too. Firstly, this took me by surprise because we never planned to celebrate together. Honestly, I'd never spend that much on one meal anyways, as I just think it's kind of absurd, especially in the current economic climate where groceries are expensive. I also mentioned to her a while ago that I'm on a tight budget, as I'm saving towards a big purchase, alongside paying the usual bills. Not to mention, Christmas has just passed, so it's been a period of spending on gifts and food. Here's the thing. She just recently got a raise at work, so she's been kind of on a spending spree as a reward. Am I justified in feeling a little ticked off that she just expects me to do the same and spend an absurd amount of money on celebrating her? You know what? You should get your nails done that day and send her photos of you having your nail done. And send her lots of pictures from that session. Oh, the sweet karmic justice would be incredible. Anyway, on to the next story. New Year's Eve party prep. I'm hosting a party for New Year's Eve tonight, and as such, I knew the grocery store was going to be packed. I was not wrong. So thinking ahead, I ordered a couple of party trays for curbside pickup. My local grocery store, the curbside picked, is around the side of the building, and the spots are clearly labeled. These labels are A to V followed by the store number. When you arrive for a pickup, you just text the letter and number and they bring out the groceries. Today the parking lot was very full when I arrived for my pickup time. So much so that the overflow parking was nearly full on the other side of the curbside pickup. So these spots, a customer would have to park and walk through the curbside area to get to the store entrance. New Year's Eve is now, so this is not unexpected. As I was pulling in, the customers in spots A and B were pulling out, so I pulled into spot B and texted my arrival. I popped the trunk and waited. Then a middle-aged woman pulled up into spot A. Nothing unusual yet, until she got out of the car, locked it, and started walking towards the main entrance. One of the curbside attendants that had just finished delivering another order this was the interaction. "Excuse me, ma'am, do you have a curbside order?"
I am here to get my groceries.
"Okay, please stay in your car and text the spot number, and we will bring them out to you."
No, I will just get them.
"Ma'am, have you placed an order in advance with us?"
No, that's when I'm going to get my groceries. Now move out of my way.
"I'm sorry, ma'am, but if you do not have a curbside order, I will need you to park somewhere else. This is for curbside parking only." Points down at the curb, the entitled woman does.
That is a curb, and I am parked on the side.
At this, she started walking towards the front entrance at a rapid pace. At this point, the employees followed her, trying to get her attention, but she kept walking away and ignoring him. No karmic justice, unfortunately. Just one entitled whale that didn't want to park another 100 feet away. And this is where employees should call a tow truck. Not a toe on your foot, a tow to tow that car far, far, far away. And probably upset that lady a little more, but who cares? She's entitled. Anyway, on to the next story. Entitled ex-boss wants me back. Several months ago, I picked up a side job at a local bar slash cafe. It's quite a popular place, and my sister and I used to go a lot since she's friendly with the landlady. We were talking about her looking for help behind the bar one day, a week in the evenings, and I agreed to give it a go after she posted the offer to me. I was going through a bit of a stagnant phase in life and thought it could be fun and worth the extra money. Although I already work full time, so it's hybrid. So I have more flexibility around things outside the office, and she said she understood if other work commitments need prioritizing. I have never worked in a bar or as a barista before, and there was absolutely zero proper training. My first shift, the landlady showed me where everything was and immediately got me on serving customers, while she disappeared off to do other things. I knew next to nothing about what wines and beers we had on stock, how to measure and pour all the different drinks, enter the items correctly on the till, how to navigate the coffee machine. I burned myself on the steamer more times than I cared to admit. But the regulars gave me plenty of grace and advice, and I muddled through. I stuck it out since the extra cash in my pocket certainly didn't hurt, but it was stressful and physically demanding even at the best of times. It was often loud and busy in there, with live music or karaoke playing. You'd be on your feet constantly, running back and forth, bending and lifting heavy crates, in and out of the dishwasher, getting your clothes and shoes soaked with beer. It was a tiny space behind the bar, and the landlady seemed to have zero spatial awareness, so she'd bustle in behind you to grab things while you were in the middle of serving, knocking past your elbows while you're trying to pour, squashing you into the beer taps, tripping you and blocking you while she stood to talk to people, and expecting you to contort around her with your hands full of pints or hot drinks. She also had a habit of telling you off about doing stuff wrong. Either something she'd never bothered to show you properly, or that you'd been doing the way she showed you for weeks. Like she just decided on a whim she wanted something done differently, and you were expected to know and immediately correct it. She'd pull me aside to lecture me about how the most random things, like the volume I was talking at the bar, the type of mug I used for someone's tea, or the way I arranged the candles on the table. My agreed shift was 6 to 11 p.m. close, but we often didn't finish until half 11, since the landlady would let regulars stay longer or extend last orders when it was busy, and she would let me go closer to midnight a lot of the time, knowing I'd been at work all day and that I was going to be up for work again the following morning. I'd added the staff WhatsApp group to keep up to date, and it was mostly a stream of passive-aggressive essays from the landlady, randomly updating the shift/bar rules, and expecting everyone to follow along, or calling everyone out on how things were being done wrong. Since she didn't actually train anyone properly, it got ignored. Instead of planning cover for events, she expected everyone to just be able to pitch in and to pick up the slack. Would frequently be asking for people to stay longer or pick up extra hours, and there was always a sense of urgency and guilt tripping around it. Like, we really need everyone to pull together and help out, guys. Most of the other staff were part-time and had other full-time jobs or commitments like me. She would message me individually asking if I could do extra shifts as well, or wait to pitch last-minute requests on me in person, hoping I would say yes if she put me on the spot. A couple of times I caved because I had free time and energy, and conveniently those shifts always ended up being the most busy and stressful. There were a handful of people who the landlady let in that were barred from all the other places in town, like this alcoholic woman who always made weird comments about your appearance and tried to reach out and grope you inappropriately, the middle-aged married man who sat at the bar leering and making gross misogynistic jokes, and asking all the girls for hugs, The dodgy group of lads who were always off their faces trying to intimidate and threaten people and start fights. The landlady never seemed bothered about any of this and wouldn't really support us if me or the other staff bought it up, and when they came in. In fact, she'd often continue to enable them by giving them what they wanted. She started to take liberties, leaving staff on their own without notice, and would put her partner in charge while she went off on the holiday. But he knew nothing about running the place and would just disappear off for ages. So if it was a busy shift, you were totally on your own. There were so many times I was forced to do things I didn't feel safe or comfortable doing, like leaving the bar and till completely unattended to make food in the kitchen, or having to lift and carry massive crates of drinks and empty glass across slippery paved courtyard in the rain. There was absolutely no planning for the volume of customers we would regularly have to manage alone, and could easily have 30 plus people on an evening packed into the bar area. The last few months, I was under a huge amount of extra unexpected stress and pressure from my regular job, so I think the landlady could tell I was getting burned out, but she rarely tried to check in or ask how I was doing. I went through a phase of suffering panic attacks quite badly a few years ago, and I had my first one in ages in the middle of a shift at the pub when nobody was around to help. I also had to go to the doctors a few times, as many months I kept breaking out in odd rashes, probably from the stress, and the medication they put me on was making me incredibly nauseous if I didn't eat at regular intervals, which I wasn't doing, or sleeping for that matter. I kinda hit rock bottom after a horrendous couple of weeks at work around November time. Big organizational changes dropped on us without warning, multiple days of overtime, and working through lunches, and not getting up from my desk and seeing sunlight for hours, while more and more things continuously got piled on me, and everyone else involved is conveniently out of the office. I asked the landlady if I could swap out my next shift to give me a break, which is something I absolutely hate doing. And she told me she wasn't going to be there, so she couldn't help me out. No one else was available, so I had to go in, and it ended up being one of the busiest nights I'd ever had. The landlady's partner, of course, was nowhere to be seen, so I was left to drown. It was so stressful that within the first hour, some of the regular customers kept coming to ask if I was okay, because I must have looked like I was on the verge of having a breakdown. I couldn't hold a glass steady or even make eye contact when they weren't speaking to me. At some point, I honestly wasn't even aware of time passing. The landlady's partner decided to appear to grab his coat, told me he was going home to have dinner, and fricked off until closing. No more than 2 days later, I got a message from the landlady, asking if I was available to take an extra shift that Saturday, and that broke me. I told her no, but that I would drop in to see her after work, and I think she could tell something was up from that because when I came in and asked for a chat, she pretty much immediately and bluntly asked if I wanted to quit. I was quite stunned by her attitude, not sure if she was angry, or if I should be angry about her being angry, but I kept my cool and we had a brief conversation about things. She didn't put up any fight, just offered to keep me on the group chat in case I ever wanted to pick up the odd shift here and there. I told her I'd need some time to think about that. I stayed for a quick drink and went home to try and enjoy my weekend off. It's been about a month and half since then I haven't heard anything from this landlady. Just before Christmas, my sister convinced me to go in for a drink with her, where I very briefly saw the landlady, who immediately goes, "Oh, hi, so when are you coming back then?" I just laughed it off and ignored her, as I currently have no intention of going back at all. I have just got back from a weekend away seeing the rest of my family, and I'm straight back to work. It's been so busy I haven't been able to take any time off between the bank holidays, so I've been trying to fit in traveling and other plans around that, which is stressful enough. I look at my phone and notice a message from the landlady asking if I'm free the next day, New Year's Eve by the way, to come in and do a shift in the middle of the day, because apparently she has loads of staff and off and can't find anyone, and she's desperate. Then she tops it off with, "And let's have a chit chat about you coming back in when the new year." I am completely dumbfounded by this message, as she's not even reached out to me until now. Not to mention, it's a very normal weekday, so she knows I'm working. I just ignored the message and later noticed it had been deleted from the chat history. My sister went in for a drink there last night, and she just messaged me saying the landlady was asking about me and that she missed me yesterday. Sure thing. Personally, I don't think I'm going to be going back there for a good long while. Hey, narrator here, I would recommend removing yourself from the chat and move on, or she will keep asking you to work. She doesn't respect the boundary of, I can't work here anymore. She doesn't get any work from you. Period. End of discussion anymore. Now that's the end of today's video. If you all enjoyed, remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and check out my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/CountJulius, if you want to see me get that background footage live. I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.